Ridge Mountains. Their mystery and grandeur call to us. Surrounded by these ancient peaks and blessed with a benevolent climate, small creeks become mighty rivers. Dense forests nurture abundant wildlife, and rich soil becomes a fertile canvas for the art of plow and tractor. Majestic and grand, these mountains have sheltered and protected this land known as the Hollows. They have stood silent and strong, guiding people drawn to the promise of the land. People who have lived and died, struggled and triumphed to build lives and futures. From the Saura Indians who lived with the land but left little trace of their time upon it, to the independent-minded settlers who braved the hardship and deprivations of the Great Wagon Road. From the craftsmen who coaxed man-made beauty from the unforgiving granite of the earth, to the visionaries who dreamed of a golden future built on the iron wheels of the railroad. Their story is our story, with new chapters added by each passing generation. It's an exciting, vibrant story, filled with struggle and sacrifice, triumph and tragedy. It's a story told in all its rich detail at the Mount Airy Museum of Regional History. Anchoring one end of Main Street in downtown Mount Airy, North Carolina, and watched over by its iconic clock tower, the museum is dedicated to preserving and celebrating the natural, historic, and artistic heritage of this unique region for you to see, explore, and enjoy. In the museum's 3 floors of exhibit space is housed a treasure trove of photographs, artifacts, and exciting exhibits that weave the threads of our past together into a rich tapestry bridging the gap between days gone by and days still to come to tell the story of who we are and where we came from. Our story is as unique as the round peak music born here out of the isolation of the mountains. But the story told through our exhibits is also an all-American story, similar to that of countless other places where people of courage dared to believe in the promise of a brighter future. It's a connection you begin to feel the minute you walk in the front door. The Mount Airy Museum of Regional History is a walk through time, beginning with the natural abundance of the region's wildlife that nurtured a rich Native American culture. Wander the banks of the Yadkin or Ararat rivers today, and you can still find evidence, like these arrowheads, of the Saura Indians who once made their home in this region. The very foundation of the land itself is an integral part of the history of the region. Surry County is home to the largest open-faced granite quarry in the world. Today, men still chisel and hone by hand huge blocks of the snowy white granite using many of the same tools employed by the long-ago craftsmen immortalized in the museum's extensive exhibit. It's an exhibit that takes you through the history of what was once called a worthless piece of rock through its transformation into an industrial giant and mainstay of the local economy. And it offers you a glimpse into the work life of a 19th century stonecutter who may have carved the granite pillars of the gold depository at Fort Knox, or used this mold to create the imposing buffalo medallions that adorn the bridge at Arlington National Cemetery. But originally, it was the promise of fertile land that drew those first settlers down the Great Wagon Road and across the Blue Ridge, guided by the round top of Pilot Mountain to their new homes in the hollows. You can relive their arduous journey through a variety of exhibits that bring their story to life. Exhibits including this amazing replica of the Robert James Hill cabin, built in 1786. You get a first-hand look inside the home of a pioneer family, and in doing so, gain a better understanding of what it took to survive and thrive in a wilderness. Special programs for adults and summer camps for kids offer you an in-depth experience unlike any other. For school groups, the museum brings history to life in ways that make it fun as well as educational. The vibrant nature of the museum is a reflection of the independent spirit of those who made their homes in remote places, like the Pucketts, who built their cabin in the mountain along what is now the Blue Ridge Parkway. and of the lively nature of the communities that grew from those first few settlers. Communities that still thrive today in Surry County, their early proud citizens frozen forever in time in museum photographs, their churches still echoing to the sounds of Sunday worship, and their final resting places still bearing the gravestones that marked their passing. A walk through the exhibits celebrating those communities, or a visit to our old general store may spark memories from your own past.
Frequently, visitors to the museum will see a picture, will see a person, or will see an artifact that reminds them of their past or the past of their family. And it really strikes a note, and you'll hear them exclaim some familiarity with it. And it's not at all uncommon. It happens to me as well.
Few events had as much impact on the region as the arrival of the railroad. Bridging rivers and connecting far-flung places, the arrival of the railroad forever changed the communities it touched. The museum brings the days of the steam engine to life again. With a 70-foot scale model railroad beloved by children and adults, the arrival of the railroad ushered in a new age of prosperity, carrying the goods that furnish the beautiful Victorian homes still seen throughout the region today. You can experience again the sights and sounds of a formal Victorian parlor, furnished with pieces that grace the homes of some of the leading citizens of Surry County. Like any region, this one has had its share of triumphs and tragedies, of brushes with the famous and infamous, and they are all a part of the Mount Airy Museum of Regional History. Spend a few minutes reading the blaring headlines that tell the tale of the crime of the century, massacre at Hillsville, a dramatic courtroom shooting, 5 people gunned down and a lawless gang brought to justice. Immerse yourself in the exhibit tracing the unlikely journey of the world's most celebrated Siamese twins, Ing and Chang Bunker, a journey that took them from an obscure fishing village in Thailand to world fame and an eventual life here in Surry County. And here they rest still with their wives behind the church they helped build. And Mount Airy's favorite son, Andy Griffith, who never forgot the magical town where he grew up and immortalized it for all time as that most American of small towns, Mayberry. Every day, new connections are being made at the Mount Airy Museum of Regional History through exhibits that celebrate our unique music, honor those who fought and died for our country, and seek to improve our understanding of the contributions and struggles of the African American community through the collection and preservation of photographs and artifacts. It's a vital piece of the region's story that lives on in places like the nearby Tucker House, where generations of one family worked, prayed, and lived, preserved and restored by family members who cherish their rich family legacy. Another piece of the region's heritage ready for you to explore is preserved in the rare fire trucks displayed by the museum, including Mount Airy's 1916 model that finally replaced horsepower of the 4-legged kind with the horsepower of the gasoline engine, and in the intriguing exhibit that takes you back in time to experience the sights and sounds of life in the firehouse in 1939. The Mount Airy Museum of Regional History is one of those rare places that can enrich your life and enhance your understanding of how we as a region, a state, and a nation grew. It's a place that celebrates the unique nature of this region, but also offers something to those whose roots lie elsewhere.
There really is something here for everybody, from the grandfather to the mother to the child, and I think everybody would be entertained, and I extend an invitation to come visit.
Come experience the Mount Airy Museum of Regional History. It's an invitation we know you'll be glad to accept.